all-knowing and all-powerful, starting with the elderly wolf uncle. Chapter 110. Meow. One by one, at night, the black cat that was shut out of the window barked a few times. Now it is clear that it is late autumn and winter, but its call makes people feel a breath of spring. It is not far from the apartment. There is a construction site. It was clearly late at night, but there was still a pile driver in operation. While working, there is a dull crashing sound constantly. I don't know if the surrounding residents will complain about them. Meow. After a while, the black cat outside the window suddenly let out the sharp chirp again. It seems that he was stimulated by something, frightened. It turned out that it was the dark clouds that never dispersed over Gotham City, and finally brewed. A sudden rain fell on the entire city. Rain drenched the streets of the city and flowed through dark alleys hidden in the depths. Penetrate into the gaps between those masonry. Left a slippery muddy place. Even every little grass on all the grass was covered with raindrops. This night, Chen Tian showed Catwoman all his abilities. It belongs to the hardness of the body of steel, super speed and super strength. And the terrifying resilience brought by the super self-healing factor. There are even tiny currents that lightning abilities can produce. Catwoman Selina had obviously made sufficient mental preparations before this, but she really realized tonight what it was called. The ebb and flow. Flowers blossom. Thanks. Meanwhile, Marvel Universe. New York City. The Delanhay estate, which has put out all the lights. Wanda tossed and turned and couldn't sleep, her brows furrowed as if she was worried. The light and smooth close-fitting silk pajamas on the body outlined the girl's figure delicately. Chen, it's gone again. I haven't seen him for a long time. Thinking about it, the girl sighed faintly and turned over again. As for the others, they are already asleep. And they did not notice that outside the manor, there was a figure walking by in a hurry. The man walked all the way to the distant alley and dialed the phone. Chief Hill, it's me. The phone was connected, and Agent Hill's voice came from the other end. We found that Chen Tian seemed to have suddenly disappeared again, and no matter where we looked at it, we couldn't see his figure. The man said a lot in one breath. Are you sure? In the earpiece, Hill's tone became solemn and asked quickly. Pretty sure. This person in charge of SHIELD scouts has an affirmative tone. Okay, I see. You guys continue to stare, don't get close, let alone be detected, otherwise it will be troublesome. Yes, sir. Click one by one. Hill, who was sitting in the office, hung up the phone and then couldn't help but take a deep breath. The delicate brow slowly furrowed. Chen Tian disappeared again. What is he going to do? Go to replicate the ability again? Time. Countless questions flashed through her mind. However, it is certain that there may be a lot of things involved in this matter. Thereupon, Hill quickly collected his thoughts and came to Nick with a solemn face. Fury's office. Report the message you just received to the other party. Chen Tian, that guy disappeared again? Still no one saw how he disappeared. Nick. After Fury learned about this, the expression on his face was also not relaxed, and his eyes were cloudy. Now that most of the people with special abilities on the entire Earth are being monitored by us, it is certain that Chen Tian did not touch them. He muttered in a deep voice, where can Chen Tian go? Including the last time he disappeared, I don't know where this guy went, and his strength has increased a lot after he came back. Could it be that there are many superpowers that we don't know about? Time. Nick. Fury only felt that his head was getting bigger and bigger, and his heart was getting more and more irritable. After pondering for a while, he said to Hill again, let your people observe for 2 more days, and must keep an eye on that Drenhay manor. Quote. Said Nick. The haze on Fury's face became deeper and deeper. If Chen Tian still doesn't appear, then you can't wait any longer. Quote. At this point, he paused and took a deep breath. At that time, go directly to catch Charles, the psychic grabber. Isn't this clearly going to tear his face and directly start a war with Chen Tian? When Hill heard this, he was stunned, and immediately thought of the consequences of such an action. But Chen Tian has not shown any intention to strike at SHIELD. She looked at Nick. Fury, word by word, said seriously, actually, I think he prefers to live in peace. Quote. Although we SHIELD have suffered blows, it is also based on the fact that the people of the task force took the initiative to invade each other's territory. Chen Tian has not made a move against SHIELD since he issued the second warning. Fury listened to Hill's words, and his face grew darker. Subsequently, enough, boom. He suddenly got up, slammed the table in front of him, and gasped and stared at the woman in front of him. You don't understand anything, don't let me hear such ridiculous words again. As long as we don't provoke Chen Tian, we'll be fine. HMPH, big joke. Nick. Fury's face was hideous, and he snorted coldly twice. Mutants will never learn to live together peacefully, as long as they have extraordinary abilities. They will one day show their minions to the world. Quote. Didn't we trust mutants and even let the smartest of them into Congress, and the result? They can't even live in peace between their own races, and the whole of America has been stirred into a pot of porridge by this group of mongrels. Ma ya fake. Quote. Chen Tian must deal with it, and he must make him pay. Every word he said was filled with full fire. Subsequently, there was silence in the office. Nick, Fury and Hill looked at each other, neither of them continuing to speak. But his eyes are full of fatat. Then, there was a knock on the door. Hawkeye Barton pushed the door in, noticed the tense atmosphere of the scene, and raised an eyebrow. Then walked to Nick. In front of Fury, he handed the report in his hand to the table. Head. After our debugging, we confirmed that the brainwave enhancement machine in the underground secret room of Xavier Genius Academy can still operate normally. At the same time, Hawkeye reported, However, because there is no operation and warranty for too long, some parts of the machine are old and rusty. And they need to be repaired by replacement parts. Quote, otherwise it's easy to break down, but in general there are no major problems.